and Tipperary have met in an All-Ireland semi-final. They've had 6 championship clashes since then, 3 in All-Ireland quarter-finals, 1 All-Ireland final and 2 qualifiers. Barry Kelly is the man in charge, a man who's refereed 4 All-Ireland finals, including last year's drawn game. The second of the All-Ireland Hurling Championship semi-finals is underway. Tipperary won the toss, decided to play from right to left, which gives them, we think, slight wind advantage, and we only say we think because it's a swirling breeze. Here comes John Hanbury, delivering the ball long, up towards Conor Whelan. Tipperary, under a little bit of pressure in the early stages, but coming clear, waiting for it, patiently. His right corner back, Cathal Barrett. Just outside now his own 65-metre line. Laying it off, far as Shane McGrath, pumping it in high, testing ball, Seamus Callanan underneath it, the sticks are flying, held out, goal! One chance, first ball, first goal. Eamon O'Shea, the blood is pumping, the adrenaline rushes on, the Premier County mean business.
Yeah, Martin, this is something that Tipperary would have been looking at. A one-on-one with Callanan. Pádraig Mannion got under the ball, but just look at the experience of Callanan. He just got inside him, great catch, shortened up the grip and a brilliant finish. And all the while this was happening, Aidan Hart was on the ground with a head injury. You know, the rule is there, maybe you should stop the play. You can see him going off there now, bleeding heavily from the head, but there he is now. The referee kept the game going. It was an accidental collision with Niall O'Mara, but he was on the ground all the time when that play went on, and maybe that'll be a little bit controversial that the play should have been stopped to treat that injury.
Aidan Hart from Gort, son of Josie Hart, great Galway man, getting some medical attention from Dr. Dan Murphy. Blood substitution required. Still the medical attention goes on along the sideline. The ball is put down. What a start by Tipperary. Cyril Donlan's effort is blocked down. Beautifully blocked down by this man. As he goes forward once again, it's Cathal Barrett. Oh, whoa, my word. What a collision between the two number 2s, Johnny Cohen and Cathal Barrett. And you can see that John O'Dwyer is seriously concerned about his corner back. Look at this again. Straight collision here. Two heads colliding, and Cathal Barrett went down. Hefty collision.
It was, Martin. He seemed to be maybe unconscious there briefly. It certainly didn't look to be any movement, but he's back. He's on his back now, and the medical attention in. 2 very heavy hits. The first one with Aidan Hart, completely accidental with Niall O'Mara, and you saw Johnny Cohen come out there, and 2 fast men colliding at that pace, and Barrett is certainly hurt, but he's moving there now, thankfully.
Only 22 years of age since last month, as Eamon O'Shea is indeed delighted after that hefty collision to see Cathal is okay. He's coming over to get some further medical attention and just to make sure that he's 100% right, which is only right and proper indeed.
Absolutely, one of the finds of the year last year. Very confident player, great hurling cornerback, and you can see where he was down the field there. But Callanan now with an easy free to start after his great goal.
He scored 3 goals and 8 points in that qualifier last year in that amazing comeback. And Seamus Callanan gets his first point of the match from a free. There's only 1-1 on the scoreboard in Croke Park and on your television screens wherever you're watching in Ireland or around the world. What a cracking goal by Seamus Callanan. It's pleased his manager. Ball over at the far side. Paddy Maher is over there. You can see that Paddy Stapleton is the blood substitution, in case you've just spotted number 26. He's in for the injured Cathal Barrett momentarily. Meanwhile, it's David Burke from the St. Thomas's Club. Won an All-Ireland club medal here a few seasons ago. It's half blocked, half stopped. It comes as James Barrett. From upper touch, from back. Good hurler. Played previously in the half-back line. Trying to get there is David Burke, knocking it away from Shane McGrath. Good work here by the Turlough Moore man. There's nowhere to go as Tipperary surrounded, trying to flick it away. Succeeding. Carl's Brendan Maher, the captain from Borrisalee, stepping aside, laying it off quickly. That's nice hands. Is the finish just as good? Not quite. Just to the right of the post, off the stick of John Bubbles O'Dwyer.
Yeah, Marty, beautiful piece of skill there by Brendan Maher. Flicked it off the hurl straight to John O'Dwyer. He'll be disappointed. And there's Aidan Hart back on wearing number 27, but I think John O'Dwyer will be disappointed. But Marty, both teams lining up in an orthodox way, no sweepers, and very wide open, both forward lines with loads of room on the ball. So look, it should be a right open game now.
Here comes Andy Smith. His work rate phenomenal from the middle of the field, dropping this in. Darren Gleeson, good hands. Like a magnet, the sliotar flew into his grasp just under the crossbar. He sent it back out to Andy Smith, who sent in the original ball. Trying to get ahead of Joe Canning was James Barry. The ball breaks through first, Conor Whelan. Referee's whistle is blown. There is a fantastic atmosphere, I have to say, for this All-Ireland semi-final. They're anticipating 60,000, but you can hardly hear the referee's whistle.
No, massive atmosphere. Just noting that Conor Whelan, who had such a great impact in his first game the last day, he's in a corner forward, and Jason Flynn out on the wing. That's the only change. Jonathan Glynn on the left wing and Cathal Mannion inside him. And here's Joe. Now Galway need this score to settle them. It's a nice handy one for Joe as well.
Very handy one indeed. Total score so far in the championship, 4 goals and 37 points. And Galway are up and running in Croke Park after almost 6 minutes of play. An early goal will surely have unsettled his team, Anthony Cunningham, as we saw just a quick shot of him there. A little bit anxious along the sideline. Meanwhile, it's Tipperary sending the ball forward. Dangerous ball again. It's that man, Seamus Callan. Good block down, great block down by Johnny Coe. But Callan is powerful. He's heading towards goal. Great hook again by Johnny Coe. Wonderful play by Galway. Listen to the roar. David Burke. This is the sort of hurling championship we were hoping for. Ball down first, Joe Canning. And again, it's James Barry. Oh, there's a high challenge there, which caught James Barry in the side of the face. Paddy Maher didn't like it. Joe Canning acknowledged it immediately. To James Barry's great credit, he's up off his knees immediately, but Barry Kelly had indeed blown the whistle.
Yeah, great passage of play. I think Joe's going to get a yellow card. Barry Kelly very decisive there. He flicked across. James Barry has got out in front, and you see there, sportingly, you see there flick in first and then a second one. And he had the ball firmly in his hand. That's missed time by Joe. A man of his skill shouldn't be doing that and hitting him across the face guard like that. But Marty, back to Johnny Coe. What a brilliant hook there. We talked about JJ Delaney's hook last year in the All-Ireland final. That was a huge one there, because if Callan had got in for another goal so early, Pádraig Mannion's confidence would be shattered. So great play there by Johnny Coe.
Just to confirm, the Cathal Barrett is back playing a corner back. Patrick Stapleton, number 26, has gone off as we follow the sliotar down towards Joe Canning and company. Canning hitting one Tipperary man, getting by, trying to lay it in for Cyril Donlan. Lovely flick by Donlan. He controls it. He's inside the left rectangle. Surely that's a penalty. What's the referee going to do? He still hasn't decided. But at least half of Galway were roaring for a penalty. But what brilliant skill by Cyril Donlan.
It was a brilliant pass by Canning. I thought Cathal Mannion was in a better position. It has to be a penalty. He's just checking, I think, was it inside? But it's certainly a penalty.
Penalty. Listen to the roar in Croke Park. Can you hear it in Dubai? Can you hear it in New York? Because half of Galway must be roaring over this one. But the stick work, the pass inside, and the hands of Cyril Donlan, superb.
If you just watch it again, just watch where the foul is. He was just checking that the foul was inside, and it was certainly was a penalty.
Referee is having an exchange of views, I think, with Darren Gleeson.
Yeah, he's just warning him to stay on his line. He's not supposed to leave his line until the ball is struck. So,
well, the drama is unfolding in Croke Park. Seamus Callanan, full forward for Tipperary, scoring the first goal. Here's Canning, brilliantly saved by Darren Gleeson. All-star goalkeeper 2014. 7 years waiting for his chance as a sub to Brendan Cummins, and he produces a penalty save in an All-Ireland semi-final. Back come Galway looking for more, and the ball is wide.
Oh, that's a brilliant save, Marty. We'll see it now again. Joe Canning struck it really well, but Gleeson, he took the right side. Just watch it here now. Moved across, and a brilliant save. Canning went for the open side. He was holding the hurl backhanded, but he got around. See the way he switched his hands and got around for a brilliant save.
Ball is put out for Patrick Bonner-Maher. Galway experiencing 2 sucker punches in the opening 9 minutes. A goal from Seamus Callanan and a penalty save from Darren Gleeson. Getting there first is Cathal Barrett. Comes out first, Jonathan Glenn. What a goal he scored in the quarter-final against Cork. Lays it off. There's a chance here. Going for goal. And it's deflected again by Darren Gleeson for his second save. And it was Cathal Mannion. He decided, thought about it, would I take my point, will I go for goal? And Gleeson from Portroe in North Tipperary saves again.
Yeah, but Marty, Galway are absolutely carving Tipperary wide open. That's a brilliant save again. Mannion was right to go for it. See the great shot, and Gleeson down low to his left, just got a slightest touch to it, could have went to the roof of the net, maybe hit him on the wrist, and the room they're creating inside, fast ball in from their backs, tackling hard out the field, and Galway will wonder how are the 3 points down, how they haven't at least levelled up at this stage.
Darren Gleeson is holding his arm because he actually didn't stop it with the boss of the hurley, he actually stopped it with his arm. He's in a bit of pain. Joe Canning taking the subsequent 65. It's looking all right, not good enough though. Oh, the umpire is actually going for Hawkeye. So we're going to have the first Hawkeye, and you can see the doctor medical attention there required for the goalkeeper after that brilliant save, his second. Barry Kelly indicating officially that Hawkeye is required. So was Joe Canning 65 over the bar or just outside that far post at the canal end? The answer is Neil.
We were having it all, Martin, the first 10 minutes, one-on-one penalties, Hawkeye, great saves, and brilliant atmosphere, as you said earlier, and great intensity from both sets of players. Fantastic start to the game.
Darren Gleeson. His puck outs so vital, as indeed are Colm Cannonan's. This one goes astray as Galway go forward. Floating this one in very high is Jason Flynn. So high, so accurate, and very much over the crossbar and between the posts. Good score.
Yeah, a player who's had a fantastic season. That's a great score right out in the middle of the field, near the sideline, and Galway deserved that. They're all over Tipperary at the moment, and Tip still leading by 2 points.
Conor O'Brien got the short puck out, but the referee, Barry Kelly, has blown his whistle. Conor O'Brien is looking for an explanation.
Well, the rule, Marty, actually is the ball only has to travel 13 metres. You can actually go inside the 21 to pick up the ball once it travels 13 metres on the diagonal. So if he's given a free for not being outside the 21, it's actually not correct.
He's actually giving a throw ball.
Yeah, throw in is the rule if it doesn't travel the 13 metres, but you don't have to be outside the 21 once the ball is struck. Oh, there's a frontal challenge again.
Frontal challenge from Paddy Maher. Well, the parameters are being set out rather early in this All-Ireland semi-final, as Paddy Maher came in, received a hefty challenge from Jonathan Glenn.
Surely should have been a yellow card, but he avoided it.
Ball is breaking free. Gathering it is Patrick Bonner-Maher. Has the time and composure to send it across to see who's available. Chasing after it is Seamus Callanan. Front of the Hogan. Oh, he just hurled this to the right and wide. It would have been a great point. But you can see that Pádraig Mannion and Seamus Callanan are getting to know each other a little bit better as well. But Seamus Callanan inaccurate on that particular occasion. Puck out from Colm Callanan. Aim for Jonathan Glenn. Chasing after it, being pursued, being perhaps fouled by Ronan Maher. No free given. Back there as well as Shane McGrath. Jonathan Glenn. Across comes Conor O'Brien from Anacarty. Great little cornerback, delivering it into the middle. Coming forward is Brendan Maher. Look at the hands again, laying it off for James Woodlock. Woodlock, diagonal ball again, over to Seamus Callanan, who's causing Galway serious problems. Going right, going left, and dropping this over the crossbar. It's a goal and 2 points for Seamus Callanan with just 13.5 minutes played.
Yeah, great passage of play there, you're right. Brendan Maher, look at his quick hands again. James Woodlock, and Woodlock picked out then Callanan with a great ball inside, and he is all over Pádraig Mannion at the moment. James
Woodlock, Trojan worker in the middle of the field, lays it off. Again, they're going to aim for Seamus Callanan, but he bypassed, Pádraig Mannion bypassed it. Good covering, however, comes far as Andy Smith. Coming into challenge is Brendan Maher. Andy Smith, crossfield over towards Shane McGrath underneath it, so too is David Burke. Touched on and out over the sideline. Aidan Hart, in case you've just joined us, is number 27. And he was, of course, wearing number 5, but picked up that early injury, head injury, in the very first exchanges. Sideline cut is a good one. Coming out to meet it is Ronan Maher. Jonathan Glenn had a little chip away. Last man to touch it was from Tipperary, so it's a sideline ball for Galway.
Yeah, that's a huge feature of Galway's players. A quick one out to Joe Canning.
Joe Canning has it the legs. It certainly has. And it has the accuracy. Quick thinking.
It was. Joe went out as if he was going to take it, and they took the quick one. But I was just you can see it here again. David Burke back to Joe. I'm just making the point about the tackling of the Galway forwards. A beautiful piece of skill by Ronan Maher, but it immediately closed down by Jonathan Glynn. And you see it here again. They're tackling like this all year, and it's making a huge difference to the Galway performances.
Shane McGrath delivers it long, but look at Johnny Cohen. Brilliant catch, brilliant hook earlier. He's on his game in that Galway full back line. So too is Conor O'Brien. Not under any great pressure, but gives the ball away. Batted down. There's a chance from Jonathan Grant to Joe Canning, but this one is outside the post. Left and wide.
Joe Canning switched out to centre forward. This is what I was talking about, Marty. This ability to switch positions, but really he should have scored that. But Johnny Cohen here, matched up against Cahill or against Bubbles O'Dwyer last year as well, has done very well in them in the past, and he's had a great start to this game.
Puck out from Darren Gleeson. Just about kept in. Aidan Hart is there. Anticipated a challenge, flicks it into the middle. Waiting for it was David Burke. Goes long, very long. Tipperary defends under a little bit of pressure, but they play it coolly. Comes first, Paddy Maher delivers it down the middle. Coming forward is Jason Ford. Jason between the 45 and 65, lets fly, and that is over the bar. Good score.
That's a great score, and you know that's the difference at the moment. Tipperary are taking their scores that little bit easier. Galway with some great possession, but the Tipperary backs showing some great skill. James Barry there, a little flick over to Cahill Barrett, and the hurling ability of these players is fantastic.
Great catch indeed by Jason Flynn, setting up Cyril Donnelly. He's fouled, and it's a free in for Galway, just inside the Tipperary 45-metre line. But again, look at the high fielding we have here in Croke Park this afternoon. Two points to his credit so far. It's Joe Canning going to take this free. Straight between the posts. Not a problem. It's Tipperary 1-3, Galway 4 points. Short puck out again from Darren Gleeson. Breaking ball picked up by Shane McGrath. Whips it into the middle, where Patrick Bonner-Maher is operating. Lays it off as John O'Dwyer, under no pressure. It's over the bar for John Bubbles O'Dwyer, first point in this All-Ireland semi-final. But again, you can see the hands, the thinking of Tipperary so fast.
Very unselfish. Bonner-Maher knows John Bubbles is not going to miss from there, so he unselfishly lays it off to him, and a lovely score.
Patrick Bonner-Maher to Paddy Maher. Not related. Ball down in towards the corner. Twisting and turning is Niall O'Mara, under a little bit of pressure. Still O'Mara. Ball into the middle. Coming forward here. A chance for James Woodlock. Lays it back past Seamus Callan, who floats it high and floats it between the posts for his third point of the game.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by James Woodlock so far, Marty. He's completely unselfish here again. Gives it to Callan. He's set up a couple of points for Seamus Callan now, and maybe that was a slight weakness with James Woodlock earlier in his career. He'd taken shots maybe that weren't on, but you can see him worked on that and laying off some fantastic balls so far.
The hard-working Conor O'Brien. Battling with him is Conor Whelan. Ball is cleared, straight down the middle. Niall O'Mara, unable to hold on to it the first time, chases after it, lays it back quickly. As far as John O'Dwyer, gives it into the centre for us is captain Brendan Marr. That's a good ball. Whoops, Seamus Callan just left it behind him. Corey Mannion gathers it. And the referee has blown his whistle for a foul on the cornerback from Ahastra.
But you can see what Tipperary are doing here. They're moving their forwards all over the place, like they did against Kilkenny in the 2010 final. Seamus Callan will be very disappointed, but they're creating huge space inside. When he picked that ball, it was a complete one-on-one. He could have went around him and a goal was on again. So Seamus Callan will be very disappointed with his first touch there. Like if you look in there now, Marty, there's only two Tipperary forwards within 60 yards of the goals, and that's what they're trying to do, create those one-on-ones.
Great free by Colin Callan, and Paddy Maher is underneath it. What a wonderful catch again by the centre half back from Perla Sarsfields. His flick out to James Woodlock was just a little bit too strong, picked up by Andy Smith, who sends it back, and it's dropping a little bit short. Easy ball for Darren Gleeson. Over to the far side. Johnny Cohen is No problem whatsoever to gather this. Nobody within miles of him. He drops it back down. Darren Gleeson is out to meet it with Cyril Donlan, and the last man to touch it seemed to be a Tipperary defender in the eyes of the umpire, and that's going to be a 65.
Yeah, I think Darren made a couple of great saves earlier. A little bit casual here. He just went to flick it up, and Cyril Donlan hit him a good belt of his shoulder, and that is a 65. Just watching Tipperary there, they changed there for a few minutes, brought Bubbles the Wire to wing forward, Bonner to centre forward, and Brendan Martha dropped out into the middle of the field, and that's why Johnny Cohen was loose there. He immediately dropped back into the sweeper role, and I don't think there's any need for Tip to do that today. They're doing well with the orthodox positioning.
Joe Canning with the 65, and with his 4-pointed again. Lar Corbett going to do a little bit of a warm-up there, taking off the top. As again, the short puck out is constantly being used by Tipperary. Conor O'Brien gives the ball away to Joe Canning. Kieran Bergen trying to challenge him, trying to hook him, and away goes Canning. 13, giving into the centre, but he hit it too strong, and Cyril Donlan was unable to reach it, and it's a sideline cut for Tipperary.
Well, there was a lot of talk about, but if you look at this, look at Cathal Mannion inside him here. When he breaks the second tackle, Mannion goes with him. I think if he just threw a hand pass inside there, instead of that ball across, Cathal Mannion was straight through on goal.
Kieran Bergen. Par Shane McGrath. Ball was intended for Niall O'Mara, but again, Galway defensively with Johnny Cohen in particular very strong, but he runs out of space. Brendan Maher is there. Ball is flicked up. Ultimately, it comes first Jason Ford. In for Seamus Callanan, who comes out almost first the goaler 45 to gather. Sends it back as he fell, and he plants it between the posts. Seamus Callanan, brilliant point. Great score.
Yeah, Marty, great try. He knew where the space was. He knocked it out for himself, and he's given a masterclass. We saw TJ Reid and Richie Hogan last week. Seamus Callanan is in that league. He's 1-3 from play scored already. He's given an exhibition of full forward play.
Paddy Maher sends this back into the Galway half of the field. Cleverly knocked away by John Hanbury. Far as Irla Tanyan. Down towards Conor Whelan. He scored a goal against Cork. Brilliant hook by Shane McGrath. Showed a little bit too much of the hurley to the Tipperary man. Nice skill by Conor Whelan. Back into the centre. Jason Flynn trying to make a little bit of space. Puts it up high and puts it between the posts. It's his second point of the match. Good play, Galway.
Yeah, and good play by Conor Whelan for such a young player. You know, he didn't panic. Lovely ball out to Jason Flynn, and nice point, and he's very lively since the start of the game as well.
Puck out again from Darren Gleeson. Gathered superbly by Dahi Burke. Turlock Moorman. Laying it off. Pulled on first time. Back into the Galway half of the field. Goes out over the sideline. Sideline ball for Galway. Eamon O'Shea manning the sideline. All-Ireland minor medalist himself back in 1976. All-Ireland under-21 in 1979. One of Ireland's finest coaches.
And Aidan Hart here, Marty, taking this. He's moved back to wing back from playing midfield and wing forward earlier in his career. I think it's been a great move for Galway. A bit like Killian Buckley for Kilkenny. He's very athletic and great hurler, and I think he's really added to that Galway half-back line this year.
Just Seamus Callanan's goal after 36 seconds separating the sides. Perhaps Jonathan Glenn can break down the Tipperary defence, and a vital interception here, but the referee has blown his whistle. There's a little jersey pull he's indicating, and there's a free in for Galway. The interception by Ronan Maher initially looked superb, but there was a jersey pull which the referee spotted. The free is quickly taken by Joe Canning and over the bar.
And you see Joe here, great catch, and immediately the hand pass over the head. Didn't work out, I think, that time because somebody stepped in, but beautiful vision there again, and David Burke on the overlap.
Puck out from Darren Gleeson, won by Galway on this occasion. Slither going to go out over the sideline. Sideline ball for Tipperary. Despite conceding that goal after 36 seconds, which obviously Galway's cage was rattled, they have very much played a part in this game. Indeed, there I see one of the stars, two of the stars, Tipperary, Len Gaynor and John Lahey. Get your thoughts in a moment, Michael, on that, as once again it's Shane McGrath that's working hard. Gives it to his captain, Brendan Maher, giving it long into the space. It's Tipperary that have it, and Seamus Callanan on the 45-metre line, who's having a game and a half. That's another point, and surely it is time to make a change, because Seamus Callanan could win this All-Ireland semi-final on his own. He's giving Pádraig Mannion a torrid time in this first half.
He is, and Pádraig Mannion has had a very good year up to now, but Callanan's in a different class. But I think I was going to say, outside of that, the rest of the Galway backs doing really well, and after conceding that goal, they've stayed in this game brilliantly, but that is the move that has to be made.
It was an off-the-ball incident involving Cyril Donlan. We'll talk about that in a moment. The Tipperary players are not well pleased. Tipperary man is down on the ground. Meanwhile, it's Carl Mannion. Carl Mannion inside the Tipperary 65-metre line. Needs to give it out. He finds Andy Smith. Andy from way out the field. Looks at the posts at the Davin end and splits them superbly with a score. Good point. James Woodlock is the player that's down injured. Got entangled, involved with Cyril Donlan, and let's just see exactly what happened. Left of your frame, there it looks like it's a pull across.
Yeah, he got hit straight into the head. If the linesman saw it,
if the linesman saw just indeed what we saw there, and I know it's long range, it's a straight red card. And James Woodlock, who's suffered in the past with serious injuries, including a serious leg injury a number of years ago that he suffered in a championship match in Tipperary. Great to see him back and recovering.
He seems to be waiting to have a word with James Woodlock, Barry Kelly, whatever the linesman said. In fairness to Barry Kelly, he didn't see it. But we just had a wide shot of it there, Marty. It was hard to see it.
Let's have a closer look at this again. Left of your screen, Michael.
He just swung back across his back. I can't even see who it was now from there.
Let's see what the referee and the linesman saw. If they saw anything, the referee checking that James Woodlock is okay. He's having a word with James, but really doesn't seem to be anything else going to be done, and play continues on. And it was off the ball. Ball is pucked out. Picked up here by Niall O'Mara. Quick hands again. Laying it off as Brendan Maher. Gets by several challenges. Pumps it high. But this is going to the right and wide. Scoreline remains the same. Tipperary 1-7. Galway 8 points. .28 minutes gone in this first half. Straight out prowess, Ronan Maher flicks it into the middle to his captain, Brendan Maher. This time, it's looking pretty good from way out the field. The captain scores in Croke Park in this All-Ireland semi-final. It's his first. Much to be cheering about from a Tipperary perspective.
Yeah, fantastic player, Marty. He's played wing-back midfield for Tip, and great leader on the field. Normally a great man to set up scores, and he shows his own class there by putting that over from the middle of the field.
Pádraig Maher giving it into the middle, picked up here by Kieran Bergen. Goes long again, batted away by John Hanbury. Out for Azir Latanya, floating this one up into the sky. Again, it's battle between Cyril Donlan and Pádraig Maher, but the ball breaks to a Galway man, Carl Mannion, and that's over the bar.
Yeah, that's his first touch. He picks up the breaking ball there. He's moved out the field a little bit. Lovely score, and you have to say both sets of forwards doing well. You'd imagine that John Hanbury maybe should be switched on to Seamus Callanan. He's doing very well on Niall O'Mara, but Seamus Callanan is going to town inside. But look at the room he has again here, Marty.
Jason Ford sending this in. This occasion, Pádraig Mannion wins the tussle, sweeps it down. Coming out first is Cathal Barrett. Tenacious play by the right corner back. Given a shoulder, over for his Ronan Maher. Did well. Sending it up again towards Seamus Callanan and company. Callanan into the middle. Brendan Maher couldn't quite control it. Picked up instead.